Tell me if this sounds familiar. Your child walks up to you, their eyebrows are scrunched, their eyes are big and teary, their breathing is labored, and then the words come out, I don't have anything to wear. You know, things like this can eat up entire days. I don't care if you have a young man or a young woman in your house. This is life-changing stuff. And it's not about the clothes, it's about the decision. And it can be a decision about what clothes to wear. It can be a decision about what social function to go to. It can be a decision about some of the smallest little things. But to them, these are life-changing things. So the question I want to talk about this month is, how do we help our teenagers make these decisions in life? How do we help our teenagers to be wise about what they choose? So the first question I want us to answer is, why do our teens have such a difficult time making decisions? Well, I think some of the times it's just personality. Maybe our teens they have the personality where they don't like to make the decisions. They're laid back and they like other people to make decisions. So when they're faced with a decision, they don't know what to do. Or maybe it's the opposite. Maybe they're the type of person that needs to be in control, and they make all the decisions, and they're afraid of making the wrong one, and so they can fret over the smallest little things. And you know, helping your kids understand their personality, understand their own temperament, can help them to make better decisions. I think another reason they have difficulty making decisions is because at this point in their life, being a teenager, they have so many different life-changing things happening. Depending on where they're at in their teenage years, they're either going through puberty and all these hormones are raging and all these things are happening, or things are changing in their life where they have to make decisions about classes, they have to make decisions about friends, about social activities, about sports, or maybe they're at the point in their life in their teenage years where they're making decisions about jobs and what they're going to do, or maybe it's even college. And so on top of all of that, to make a decision about what hairstyle or haircut or clothes to wear or what to do about this or that, sometimes it can be the straw that broke the camel's back. So let me give you a couple tips that will just help make life a little bit easier when it comes to helping your child make decisions. If your teen struggles to make decisions, then inevitably it sometimes ends up with tears on their part and shouting or anger or frustration or passive aggressiveness on our part. So one of the best things we can do is just teach our children to pray. In Philippians chapter 4, Paul says that he says to offer petitions and prayer in all things with thanksgiving. He says, offer up your petitions to God. So one of the best things we can do is to teach our children just to pray. You know, for thousands of years, God has been calling his children, calling his followers to withdraw from this physical, material world and to engage in prayer in the real world, in the supernatural world, the world that he lives in. And so teaching our children to do that will help them better grasp that this world is just temporal. This world is just here for a little while. Number two is to help your children make some small incremental steps to help in the decision making. Maybe, you know, you help your children list out the pros and cons of the decision, you know, and you help them say, okay, here's the good and here's the bad. Also, maybe your child stresses about what they're going to wear to school the next day. Help them with some small things like, okay, the night before we're going to pick out our clothes, we're going to pick out our shoes, we're going to pick out our accessories, we're going to get things ready. That way in the morning, there's no decisions to make. They just get up, they know what they're going to do, and they go on about their day. Number three, and this is an important one, is don't tell your child what you would do unless they ask for your opinion. You know, sometimes we think that we can control and manipulate our child into making the decisions we want them to make, but they can smell that from a mile away. They know when they're being manipulated. They know when they're being used. You know, I think as parents in these teenage years, we should be trying to help our children gain independence, but in a controlled environment that is safe. But they need to grow up. In a few years, they're going to be on their own. They're going to be going off to college. They're going to be going off to learn a trade. So let's help our children learn to make wise decisions for themselves. You know, there's going to come a day when your teenager will be able to make decisions for themselves. But until then, just remember that it's going to pass and they're going to get through it and things are going to be okay. So I hope you have a great month. I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas, and I'll talk to you later.